Hello, Leo. Great to have you here. My name is Shona. Today's reading is a general love forecast. As always, take the messages that resonate and release anything that doesn't. Don't forget to like, and subscribe to stay connected with upcoming readings. Let's see what's headed your way, Leo. Pieces of information that came out when I was shuffling the cards for you, and then we'll pull out the spread here for your for this month's reading. Okay. The first thing that I'm feeling is this sense of physical displacement. I feel like it's physical creating emotional displacement. I'm sensing a lot of you might have changed location. Okay. And I feel like it could be happening this month, or it happened like within the previous few months. But the energy is still resounding. So that means this change, this adjustment that you're supposed to make is not easy. I feel like some of you might have, if you're in a new place, you don't have that friendship, that family support system that you're used to in the past, which makes the transition a little bit difficult. You might feel a little bit out of place. You might feel like uncomfortable. You might feel like, do other people like me? Like you're placing a lot of emphasis on whether or not you're well received, how other people perceive you, as well as whether or not they like you. And with this sense of physical displacement, I feel like if you're away from your clan, your home base, your family, if you're away from people that really care about you, that you love, that you're emotionally connected to, if you're away from your social network, your friends, your acquaintances, and the dear friends that you hold very, very tightly onto, it's creating an environment where you have to venture out, you have to meet new people. And you worry about censorship, you worry about judgment. Are they going to be judging you? Should I tell them everything? How much of myself do I share? How much information do I give other people? So all of these things, and it's really weird. I just finished up Cancer's reading, and I felt like the Cancer energy was very Leo in nature. And I feel like if you're dealing with a lot of things that are very emotional in nature, the reading is very Cancer. Like it evokes the sign of Cancer. So I feel like you're dealing with some deep emotional things this month, okay? It's not negative. I feel like it's just different, and it's just an adjustment that you're going to have to make in your life. On the work front, so here's another thing I'm feeling that's a little bit more Cancerian in nature. The words that I'm hearing when I mention work was, they're saying there's nothing there for you anymore. You need to change direction, okay? So that's for those of you contemplating a career. Can you climb the ladder anymore? Is there room above where you are right now? Is there a new position above you that you can climb up? If not, you might need to change direction. Are you comfortable where you're at? Do you still enjoy the work, or is the work becoming tedious and monotonous and you're not growing anymore? So I feel like some of you might be at the top of that career ladder, and there isn't another rung on the ladder for you to climb. And so they're saying there isn't anything there anymore, so you might need to change direction. And then for others of you, unfortunately, I feel like it might be a majority. I feel like there's something here about people not being truthful. There's something here about not having a clear idea as to the goals, the objective. People might be giving you differing information. It's like conflict of interest. One person tells you to do this, another person tells you to do that. And then when things go wrong, they both blame you. And so I feel almost like you're in a position where you need to kind of like hide your identity. You need to hide the truth. You need to like not reveal too much of yourself, and that's not really authentically you. And so the work environment just feels like it's oppressive. It feels like you're not able to affect change the way that you want, and it feels like you're not able to be authentically you. Like your true self doesn't come out. And whenever, someone tries to suppress you, I feel like that's when the environment can feel very toxic, and it can feel very fake, and it can feel like you're no longer happy about it. They mentioned you're like talking to coworkers or higher ups, and you're trying to steer conversations away from specific topics. You're trying to be careful to skirt certain issues at work, and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed having to play the dual role of, what do I reveal? What do I hide? What do I hold back? What do I tell other people? So that can feel very, very taxing. And I feel like, as a fire sign, as a sign that upholds truth and honor and integrity, it's really difficult for you. So finances, they mentioned comparing yourself with others, wanting to be in that big league, but I feel like there are a few other steps you need to take before you can get yourself there. It doesn't mean like it's not going to happen. It just means there's a little bit of a delay in terms of getting yourself to the point, to the people that you aspire to become, getting yourself financially situated. They say as well, some of you, financially, you're not where you want to be. And you might be comparing yourself with siblings, other people around your age group. And you feel a little bit like a black sheep. You feel like, what do I have to prove for myself? What do I have to show for myself? And so you're not able to have a social life even. If you're like counting money, or if you're sitting there very cautious about your finances, very cautious about how much is going in, how much is going out. I feel like some of you might have to, I want to say like forego socializing, social opportunities, social outings in order to maintain your finances. And so, there are cheaper ways to entertain. You can entertain people at home. It significantly cuts down cost, okay? And you can do things as well that are free. And, that's also going to be good for you, and it's going to be fun as well. So, finding creative ways to just get over these financial slumps, I feel would be very good for you. So here's the thing. I feel like you're entering a very, very good new beginning. Okay, so whatever has happened in the past, if there's a new housing situation, this is indicative of new home, putting down a down payment on a new home, moving in, getting married, and moving to wherever the other person might be. Okay, these are, I feel like this is the month where things are gonna settle down just a little bit. Okay, and so you're definitely on the right track. I just feel like this sense of physical and emotional displacement, it's happening so fast. Like it's almost like you were whisked away from one place to the next and you feel displaced. But I feel like there's a lot of positivity here, and there's a lot of adjustment that needs to happen, but don't beat yourself up over it. Give yourself some time to adjust, and everything will be fine. Everything will work itself out, okay? So first of all, let me talk about this, because once again, marriage, taking a relationship to the next level, moving in with another person, declaring your love for another person, and especially, joining your finances together with another person. So I feel many of you are in really, really good positions when it comes to relationships being very stable, being very solid, and being kind of like being divinely guided to be with the right person for this month, okay? What we have here is the Lovers. And the Lovers is a very, very emotionally, sexually, physically gratifying type of a relationship. This also indicates a lot of attraction, and usually it means like two people who are very, very different, but they're able to work together harmoniously, okay? And so I feel like you have a person in your life that you're sharing your life with, that you are really just connected to. And the energy of the person shows up as the Emperor. This is a very, very honorable, very righteous, very, it's like the pillar of morality and integrity. Very stubborn though, really, really stubborn. And I feel like one of the challenge in this relationship, one of the only challenge I'm sensing in this relationship, because you've got some really solid relationship cards here, proposals and moving in together, buying a house together, taking the relationship to the next level, and still being incredibly attracted to the person that you're still in love with. So these things are good, but I feel like the only challenge in this relationship is, Leos, this is the emperor is somebody, and it can be male or female. It's not gender specific. But this is somebody that belongs to the world. They have to oversee and take care of many, many people. They have to take care of many, many things in their lives. So if you're going to do something wrong, they're going to tell you. And so you're not getting that coddling. You're not getting that you're the apple of my eye type of energy from this person. If you do something wrong, if you do something that's like, that they feel is not very moral, or they feel is not right, or they feel is hurtful to you or to other people, they're going to say it. And so this is somebody who's not going to hold back, who doesn't mince words. They're going to tell it as it is. And so, a lot of the times too, I feel like you might take offense when people tell you something that you know to be true, but you're not ready to hear it. And especially if it's somebody that you love, you want them to have your back 100%. So then if they were to tell you something that you don't want to hear, you feel like the love is diminished. You feel like it hurts more coming from someone you love than a random stranger. So I feel like the only challenge in the relationship is this person is going to tell it as it is. And if you're not ready to hear that, it can be a little bit difficult, okay? But they're not going to back down. They're not confrontational. They don't do it just for the fun of the confrontation. They do it because they believe it's the right thing. And because they care about bigger things. Their love is not just contained towards one person. They can be very loyal, but I'm sensing like there might be a little bit of power struggles. So this can be a little bit of a challenging relationship to deal with, unless you are highly evolved, unless you're open to criticism, unless you don't take a defensive stance. When someone you love tells you, by the way, I don't think you handle that the right way. So that's what I'm feeling here. But I feel like the energy is very expansive. It's good for growth. It's good for self-development. It's good for, mutual learning together. But I feel like you're with somebody that as well could be significantly older than you, or there is a significant age gap with this person. Some of you could be in a relationship here with an earth sign. So I have here a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And this is a person that really wants commitment from you, and you might be a little bit skittish. They might want to join together assets to purchase property. And I feel like you're not at a point where you are able to do that, or you're not at a point where you want to do it, or for whatever reason, you're not at a point where you're ready to take that plunge with them. So if you are dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, and the attraction is really strong, but you're not feeling, like this can be long term, or you're scared, I feel like you need to have a conversation here, okay? Because this is the month where we try to be honest. We try our best to reorient and realign ourselves to go to, to become our better selves, and to basically do the right thing with the right people, okay? So you have an offer that I feel is coming through, a major offer coming through from another person that wants a lot of stability with you. They might want to share their life with you. And I'm also seeing, that once again, that age gap between you and your partner. And age is not really the problem here. It's just whether or not you're ready. And I feel some of you are at a point where you're still feeling a little bit skittish, okay? Going back to what I mentioned earlier, this indicates to me like a big financial offer, okay? So if that message I mentioned earlier, there's nothing left for you in the work environment anymore. You need to change direction. You need to really figure out, am I learning anymore? Is all the work I'm putting in worth it? Are my skills being, utilized? Am I developing? Am I still learning? Are people treating me, with the utmost respect in my work? Am I worth more than this? So I feel this element here about you needing to take on a different offer, needing to branch out, needing to accept new financial offers, new financial opportunities, because I feel like some of you might be comfortable It's like you're sitting pretty. You have that, knowledge because you've been there for a while. You have that knowledge. And then on the other hand, you know that the company, the organization is not going anywhere. So there's like this guaranteed stability there. So you might just be comfortable, and then a new opportunity comes in, and you might turn it down because you want this comfort, you want this stability, and you're not ready to uproot and, plant yourself in a new situation. The new opportunity you might think that it's a little bit of a step down as well. So that's what I'm sensing, but I feel like it has a lot of room for growth. It's not just, shifting over into this position and then staying there. I feel like it has a lot of potential for growth. It has a lot of potential as well for climbing that career ladder, for always learning new things, digging a little bit deeper, and having a lot of financial prosperity and a lot of wealth for yourself. So I would say if there's a new opportunity that comes in, really explore it, sit with it, mull it over, and then decide how you feel, because I feel like your work situation, you're not being appreciated. You're not given tasks that are based on your experience. It's like they're giving you the lesser work that's not as important. And so, yes, you know how to do them and you know how to do them well, but you're not given opportunities to prove your skills, okay? To really be in the spotlight, to really show others what you're capable of. So that's an element here that you need to be careful about. So finances, some of you are working, making enough, but I feel like long-term financial prosperity, it really needs to be looked at. And I mentioned as well, it's like, this is a card to me about slaving away at work, working a very mundane, menial task where your heart and your soul is kind of battered by it. You're not feeling it anymore. It doesn't bring you that sense of pride, that sense of, that sense of accomplishment. So it's like going to work, going home, going to work, going home. And then, like, what do you have to prove for it by the end of the day? So I feel like some of you are kind of like bored. You want more. You want more opportunities. You want newness. You want not just work and home. You want a social life. You want to be out and about. You want to make connections, meaningful, emotional connections with other people. So you want that sense of, friendship, camaraderie, harmony, stability. And all of these things are not really happening, I feel, for small minority. And it can feel very isolating. It can feel very difficult. Okay, so if you're in this situation, just know that there is an outlet. Just know that you need to branch out and meet new people. You need to also extend a giving hand, or, extend your energy before the other people can come into the fold and reciprocate. So I feel like, really don't try to isolate yourself. That's not really happening. And if you are in a new environment, for example, and you're just feeling this sense of isolation, don't, and I don't say this lightly to you guys, Leos, don't wimp out. That means make the most of it. Don't feel like, oh no, I gave it 3 months try. It's not working, so I'm going back home. Don't do that, okay? Don't do that. Don't revert to safety. Stick with it. Give this opportunity a little bit more time. Give it room to grow on you. Give it an opportunity to grow, but also let your self get acclimated to it, get used to it, and let it grow on you. If you prematurely return back to wherever you came from because you feel like this is too much, I feel like you're selling yourself short, because honestly, you are survivors. Once you set your mind to something, you rarely fail. Rarely fail. So this is a decision that you've already made. Stick with it. Give it some time before you go back to, wherever you came from, because I feel like there's safety and stability in where you came from, but there is also lack of growth when your potential is worth a lot more, okay? So I feel like there is definitely, I don't know if there's members of your family that are also very sick and ill, The Emperor usually indicates male paternal energies that might have passed on. And we also have as well the family card. This is like some type of a shock within the family unit, okay? Some dissatisfaction, unhappiness, and overall a family unit that once was very, very stable. There might be some people being removed from it, either because of sickness, illnesses, or, passing away. So I don't like talking about this. I'm not gonna skirt this issue because this basically indicates depression and it comes from family. So there might be, recent trauma in the family, recent deaths in the family, people passing away in the family units. So my condolences for those who are dealing with this, okay? So I feel that element coming in. And I also feel like many of you might have recently made a move and now you have to travel back because of some situation that recently happened in your family. And so you feel like family is great, but sometimes you can feel like it's a huge burden for you. And trying to uphold the responsibilities within the family unit and trying to keep the family happy or keep the family together has placed a lot of stress and strain on you emotionally and financially. So the last thing that I want to end this on is we have here the Chariot. So it's weird, but I'm looking at the Chariot and the Lovers, and I feel like you have some major choices here. And I feel, honestly, you can choose to travel light. You can choose to, really take care of yourself first. And a lot of you feel guilt when you do that. You feel guilt when you're just operating as a singular unit, not taking other people into account. You feel really guilty. And especially if it's friends and it's family, if you don't take them into, if you don't factor their needs into the equation, you start to feel guilty. But I feel like we have choices in life. You have choices that you need to make to better your own life. They have choices that they need to make their lives better, to make their lives exactly the way that they want. So you can choose to put your plans on hold in order to accommodate other people, or you can choose to go ahead with your plans. A lot of the times, the passing away of an old, of an old way of doing, of a phase in our life, or a major transition, it requires us to readjust our plans. Things don't always work out the way we anticipate, but if we're flexible enough, which might be difficult for you guys because, you're a fixed sign. If we're flexible enough, we can turn the situation around. It just means being flexible, being open-minded. It means, grabbing life's opportunities when they come in rather than feeling like, I don't like it, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to something I know. I'm going to go back to things that have already worked out in the past and such, okay? So I feel like you have major choices here. We have a lot of major arcana cards that are coming through, but you have choices that you can make to steer your life in the direction that you want. And this basically means being courageous. This basically means be the catalyst for yourself to break yourself out of your own rut. So don't revert to old decisions, old choices because they're safe. Venture into a new decision. Venture into a new path, okay, Leos? I'm going to leave it with that. I hope it is helpful for you. And I also feel like, for the next few months, you really want to focus on the area, the location, geographical location that you need to be, because I feel like that is playing a huge importance in your life. So for example, you might have your mind set, I want to be in a big metropolitan city, but you want to think about cost of living. You want to think like, okay, is my income going to allow me to live there and be happy? Or am I going to have to be renting like a studio or sharing space with each other just so I can live in that city? So I feel like making practical decisions too is going to be very crucial for you, and really thinking about sitting down, budgeting, and really thinking about how much is really, coming in for you every month. And then make decisions from there. That's a more practical way to do things, okay? So I'm going to leave it at that. So Leos, I was telling all the other signs, I'm very sorry for the delay with your reading. I recently moved, new job, new city, new house. And this happened the end of last month. So the past 3 weeks have been so hectic for me, so I apologize for the delay in getting this video out for you guys so late. But I hope it's still helpful. I hope it's still useful for you as you navigate the energies of this month. And I promise, well, I think like this should be the end of the move. I think so, but I'm not really sure. There are other things happening. The end of no. Talk to you guys soon. Bye bye.